Hi everyone. So I'm going to show you how to get to your SoundTrap assignment and get that going for your first preliminary recording. So this is going to be the first time that you will be recording anything for the class. So once again, if you need to actually review your music, and you want to do this ahead of time, go into music resources. Okay, for orchestra it says music, for the mariachi class it says mariachi resources, and then both of you do have folders that say practice tracks, and I believe Mr. Legaspi does have tracks for the band and jazz band as well. So you'll be clicking on your tracks and then practicing whichever track you have to practice ahead of time. Okay, now when you're ready to actually record, you'll be going into SoundTrap first. So remember that you do need to open the SoundTrap app ahead of time. That makes it easier. If you click on the assignment, it may decide to ask you to sign in and then you may hit some snags. So we like to open this first and then go into the assignment. So I'm going to open that. And you'll notice that now my screen, now on this window, it says launch app. So it's already been launched. So now if I look at the other window that I have, I should be seeing a little browser window that has SoundTrap open. So now I'm going to jump back into my materials. Okay. And I'll going into week 6 because this is the week that we started looking at our preliminary tracks. I'm going to jump down to week 6. And I'm going to click on directions. Okay. So the directions for this week, because it was a short week and we're giving you a whole week to get this done, you're tasked with completing an entry-level SoundTrap recording. When you're ready to start, click the link attached. And you should see a tab open. Okay, so now that my browser has opened, I have SoundTrap running in the background with the other browser open, you should see this tab open up with the actual assignment. And so for Mr. Legaspi, I know he'll have a practice track already set. I have this track right here. For the orchestra, the mariachi and the band will, jazz band will see something else. But there is already a preloaded track. There's no need for you to add anything. You're going to follow the track that is there to record. So again, this is the track you will see, and we don't want you messing with this. This is the guide you're going to use to visually see, are your sound waves lining up with the sound waves from the practice track? And are you cutting off at the right parts? Because you see that there's parts where, the sound dies. You see those little dashes? That literally just tells you where you're going to start and where the sound's probably going to drop off. So you want to make sure that you keep this, okay? So do not mess with the practice track that is already attached in here. Later on, when we get this back from you, you're going to see all of this, okay? Now, a couple things that you want to know before we jump into the recording part of this. There are some buttons down here that I would like everyone to know. This is your master volume, so you can blast this up or lower it. This is about, I think, like 80%. Down here is a timer that will give you exactly how much time has passed. And I believe if we go all the way here, you can actually see how long your tracks go. So this one, I think it's a little bit. And we also have this blue button called Collaborators. So when Mr. Legaspi and I see you open this, we're actually going to be able to go in and leave you some feedback directly in the SoundTrap assignment. Now, once you've recorded, the very last thing that you need to know is save. You click save the project. We're going to get an email saying that you saved it, and we'll actually see it pop up in the period 1 or 7 folder on our end. Okay, so Just to reiterate, nobody has to start from scratch. All this stuff is going to be there. You're just going to have to go in through Schoology. Okay, let's move on to the next part. All right, so now that I'm here, I have two options. I could go to add new track up here or add new track down there. Doesn't really matter. Either way, you'll have the option, once you click it, to add a new track using one of these options. Remember, we are focusing on voice and microphones because you're recording with your iPad and or laptop desktop in order to record your instrument or vocal. Do not click any of the other ones because as you see, if I click right here on brass and woodwinds, it says play our brass and woodwind instruments through a keyboard interface. That means you'll get a digital keyboard pop up and you don't want that, okay? Same thing with the strings. Avoid these at all costs. So let's go here. Now we have a setting already, computer mic enhancer. I like clean. So there is an option here. You're going to click back and make sure that it's clean. There won't be any echo, any reverb. Volume's pretty steady. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this gear right here and click. And you get something called volume check. So now I'm actually going to get my instrument and allow the program to set the level for recording. So if you're using the built-in microphone, you do want this because you're going to need the levels adjusted. So your horns, your woodwinds, strings, your voice does not distort. That means you don't get that crunchy, weird sound in the playback when you're listening back to what you recorded. You're also not going to get anything clipped out. So if you're playing a violin or a flute, you'll notice that your microphone might really pick up higher level frequencies, which are more on this side, versus bass and cello and maybe tuba, which will be more on this lower end. So you want to make sure that you give it a chance to do the volume check. Okay. Hola, chicos. Double check that I have my little guy here. So I'm going to click start test and I went ahead and got my instrument. Okay. So see, it doesn't really take that long to do the mic check, volume check. So it says sound great. We fixed the volume levels to prevent clipping and distortion. If you didn't like it, you can click reset and let it do it again. So let's see. Okay. I like that one better since I'm going to be using lower ends anyway. I'm not really going to do higher. So I'll click done. And remember, we want this voice on clean since technically we want a clean mic. No reverb, no nothing. Now, because you'll have a track already laid in here, you're going to click start recording and the track that's here, I'm going to click out just really quickly, is already there. So you're not actually going to hear it through the speakers, right? Because you're using a headphone. Hopefully everybody got their headphones set by now. So because you're using your headphones to hear, your microphone should only pick up your instrument. It's not going to pick up any external stuff, okay? So you'll actually hear this track playing behind and you're going to actually record this. And actually, let me make sure that my email is closed. Okay, cool. So you'll hear this play while you're playing the recording, but it's not going to affect how you record, if that makes sense. So you won't hear like the track record itself over again. You'll hear what you record and then it shouldn't affect the playback. Now, if the volume's super loud, then you might have an issue. So try to adjust the levels. So I'm just going to hear this really quick before I start recording. Make sure that I'm not going to bleed into the mic. So for me, I may want to lower it so that the sound from my headphones don't bleed into the microphone jack. Make sense? Okay, so I'm going to try recording this once. And like I said, because I'm hitting record on this part, it shouldn't affect this track. It's going to be a separate track, so they're not going to blend in, except for when you play it back, to check how you recorded. Okay, so let's try. I'm going to go ahead and click the little R here. And it's going to tell you use headphones. When recording audio, please use headphones. Otherwise, you can get loud feedback noise. And because, of course, I do have mine, I'm going to click I'm using. And then that's all set. And when I'm ready, I can actually hear myself in the headphone set, so it's good. I like to prepare to record these with one ear without a headphone, so I can hear what I'm playing in real time, and then another part that'll actually be covered. So one ear should have the headphone directly, and then one should be open so you can hear what you're playing. So like I said, once you're ready to record, one of your headphones should be off of the ear so you can hear yourself, and then one should be on the ear. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click record, and then it should give me a countdown because this has 2 measures. Now, if you're using your iPad, you may not have access to easily stop the recording. On a laptop or a desktop, it's easier because you can hit the space bar and it'll stop right away. And we'll go over how to splice and all that stuff. You won't have to necessarily do it yourself, but if you want to stop it after the first try, because this one does have a repeat, I would just stop it in the middle and then click back. Make sure that when you're listening to the playback, you turn off the mic so that you don't get that weird little bouncy noise backward. Because it's not that it gives you feedback, but you kind of hear this weird echo. It was really loud the other day when we tried it, but I'm just going to listen to see how this sounds. And let me go back to this. So let's go here and here, play. Okay, so maybe I don't like that, right? I can go back and you see these 3 little dots. It'll tell me to color it, delete it, whatever. Now, if I want to delete it just from here, just the actual sound, I could click this here and hit delete. Okay, and it just clears this track. It doesn't get rid of the track because I can go back, hit the R, and then re-record it. If I want to get rid of it completely, then I would delete the track completely. Okay, and it'll even ask you, are you sure you want to undo it? So let's go back. Click our microphone. Make sure we're on clean. Check the level. Okay, so I found my levels. And now I'm going to start recording. so if you're stuck on this side, just make sure you click X, you get out of there, okay? So anytime you want to hit playback, hit this little button on the bottom. It says stop space enter right here. So it'll take you back, and then you can listen to it. If you don't want to hear this backing track, you can always mute it. That's a simple way to mute it without deleting the original track from there, okay? So let's hear it first without the backing track. So you're going to have some space in between, right? I like the sounds clean. So it did a weird thing where it kind of died out in one of the notes. I may want to re-record that. So I'm going to listen to it one last time with the backing track up to where I stopped and see if it matches up. Oh, they're not matching right there. Okay, so it's a good thing I heard it again with that track because now I can hear that they're not lining up exactly with the tempo. So that's going to force me to re-record this, click the track, delete it, and then go back, hit the little R button. And then when I'm ready, just make sure that this is the little marker is right at the beginning. Click record and re-record the part. Remember that you want to record yourself as many times as you can. So this is your first, I guess, effort. You're dipping your toe very gently into this new endeavor. So we want you to feel comfortable, no pressure, and it's audio. So we're not going to see you, but we're definitely going to hear some issues you may have, and that's fine. This is the first time we're doing this. We're trying to keep it to a very simple exercise that we can all feel comfortable so that when we move into our actual music, we can really dive in and hopefully get those tracks ready and mastered for our big concert. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. And if you have any other questions, email me, email Mr. Legaspi, and we'll let you know. Hopefully we have some answers if you are stuck on any of these parts, okay?